And it looks like we're rolling. Welcome to the Hawkeye Rising YouTube channel. I am Clint. I'm your host, your Hawkeye. Okay. 30 September 2023. Not quite at the end, but we're going fast. And I was just going to earlier today, Suruchi Team Breathe. Good to see the captain. Good to hear the captain. Good to be with the captain again. After about a week. After an odyssey, after a Homer's odyssey through what I was going to say fuckery, but I'm like, okay, is it too early in the broadcast to start dropping F-bombs? Oh, shizzle. Okay, so earlier today, just mentioning what the goal, be here 5 minutes, just drop this. And continuing what I had dropped on my channel a couple of days ago on the 25 September. Wonderful day, significant day, and a short found footage documentary of obviously compilation of footage spliced together. Let's see on the what do I want to call it? The shizzle. Okay. Anyway, nonetheless, so yes, in Canada, what do we have as so WSR-88D or WSR-88D, and of course, why don't I have this pulled up? WSR-88D D. No. Where is it? Weather Surveillance Radar 1988 Doppler. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of different names associated with this. So from NEXRAD, Next Generation Radar Network. Okay, so this, I believe, is referring to the 159 locations in the United States of Romerica. I just wanted to hit Canada for a moment. And noting that, okay, these may potentially, yes, major sites. I'm familiar with some of them being on the West Coast, having literal visual of them. And of course, there's approximately 33 across the single Jesuit province of Canada. Okay. And then just wanting to look at this. So on February 28th, 2017, okay, just want to make sure that everything is going okay. Fantastic. On February 28th, 2017, the government of Canada announced the replacement. So we're going back just over 6.5 years. I'll point that out shortly. The government of Canada announced the replacement of its weather radar network. At that time, Canada's radar network consisted of a mix of older radars, including 2 radars operated in partnership with the Department of National Defense and 1 owned by McGill University. The contract was awarded to buy and install a total of 33 new radars across the country to replace the old network. This included the addition of a radar in Fort McMurray area of Alberta. And I'm just reminded I don't have. There was some major fires in the Fort McMurray area of Alberta, and I can't think of the year, within the last decade for sure, expanding Canada's operational radar network. As of August 21st, 2023, all the new S-band dual polarization radars have been completed and have been completed and have been fully integrated into the forecasting. Yeah, fully integrated. forecasting and creating weather in conjunction with what's being sprayed in the sky and the creation of, and what would you call it? The addition of moisture into the air to combine and relate with what's being sprayed, and thus the full integration of weather, what would you say? Weather simulation, real time, weather on demand. So weather isn't just forecasted. It is certainly created and controlled, and it's unfortunately, was it National Geographic? And this is something I'd seen a number of years ago, and I cannot find it. Whether it was a National Geographic short doc that had the title of literally something like own the weather by 2025. I don't know if that sounds familiar to anyone. Okay. So of course this does not expand. But the map of Canada is playing all locations, existing Canadian weather sites. Yeah, Victoria. So literally, so is the west coast of Canada all the way. Marion Bridge. Halifax. Yeah, St. John's. Speaking of which, there was a fire in St. John's, New Brunswick recently. Anyway, sorry, don't want to get off track. Okay, replacement schedule. Okay, the first radar to be replaced was installed in fall of 2017 at Radisson, Saskatchewan, near Saskatoon, and the other radar, so Saskatchewan. So not quite the center, well, just west of the center of my country. Let's see. Anyway, that can be read. Replacement schedule for radars was posted here as it becomes available. Okay, several factors were taken into account to determine the radar replacement order and schedule. This included current operational stability, climate, and local severe weather frequency, location, access to the radar sites. Okay, so, and then of course, and then I will put the link for this if you wish to take a browse. The link will be in the description. So. Start dates, completion dates. So we're going back to even if in 2017 the first site was Radisson, Saskatchewan, October 2017, completed in 2018, and then of course here's some completion dates in 2019. The fact that just before the end of 2019, well, event 201, 18 October 2019, and then what would what would you even call it? Some kind of word from something going on in China in December 2019. Then, of course, in 2020, or the end of what December was it? December 30th, Dr. Li Wenliang, supposed whistleblower, announcing a particular event, and then his death approximately 2 months later. Anyway, 2021, and then just jumping down to 2020 August 21st, 2023, the completion in look at that, so Vancouver Island. Okay, that's all. So let's see, better servicing weather sensitive industries, health and safety, radar structure. Anyway, the fact that we have an announcement, Government of Canada, 28. This is the beauty of, where is he? Michelangelo Tamburini. Remember, this is I don't have the quote on hand, but the "See, sir, I govern not only here from," paraphrase, of course, from some place to some other place, from China and the world, is a Tamburini quote. But of course, Tamburini born 27 September 1648. So on the birthday of the Jesuit order, the Society of Jesus, his general began 31 January 1706. This is another significant date, which has ties to Claudio Acquaviva. Death date anniversary for Claudio Acquaviva, 5th Jesuit Superior General, 1615. And as we know and are familiar with, or if we're unfamiliar, we remember the 5th of November gunpowder plot. The face of the gunpowder plot: Guy Fawkes, Guido Fawkes, John Johnson. His death, 31 January 1606. And of course, the gunpowder plot. Here's the tie-in. Here's the Sun Tzu drumbeat. The fact that the face of the gunpowder plot, that these two not only share the January 31st date, but also the fact that the gunpowder plot took place during Acquaviva's, Claudio the Gimp, Living Waters Acquaviva, took place during Acquaviva's generalate. So Tamburrini, 14th Jesuit Superior General. His death date, 28 February 1730. Obviously, so now his death date anniversary being 28 February. The fact that we have not only a Tamburini, Sun Tzu drumbeat, but remember, Tamburini also connected as 14th Jesuit Superior General, but as a given birthday of the Society of Jesus. Very significant Superior General. Most of the Mars I've laid out prior. Any dates, very, very significant. But there, I believe, some certain ones, there's a weight to them, like Tamburini. There's Ricci, or Lawrence Ricci, which he during Ricci's generalate, it definitely goes and showcases and honors his mentor Aloysius Centurion and also Ignatius Visconti. You have Ladachowski, Rupe, Kovenbach, Nicholas, yes, and even Arturo Sosa, and of course the only Ignatius Loyola, which we mentioned today. The fact that in 2016, back to this idea of 5 living popes, back in 2016 from 14 October, so the day that 31st Jesuit Superior General began his generalate, October 14, 2016, to the death of 29th Jesuit Superior General Peter John Kovenbach, and on 26 November, we have an Ellen G. White connection here, Ellen Gould, EG.5 version of shit. I can't even get it out. Coronavirus, so-called coronavirus, and homeboy took his dirt nap in Beirut, Lebanon, 26 November 2016, and then of course, how many years later, the Beirut, Lebanon explosion, which we've covered a few times. Anyway, there you go. I just wanted to hit that in brief, the significance of, especially in Canada, so the modernization of Canada's weather radar network. Something certainly going on while everybody's asleep during the period of sheltering in place, being masked, a high season of fear, and a high season of, well, even more and more looking down into screens. It's fascinating. Fascinating. Certainly, living in a day, you can't even sit in traffic without those next to us, whether they're with the single occupancy vehicles, even being masked. But how many people still, even behind operating a motor vehicle, staring at their phones, even while driving? Where the fuck are you going? What the fuck are you doing? And nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on. And we do, and here we are. Here we are. Anyway, I think I was going to hit this, but back to this idea of quarantine. Okay, you know what? Why don't I just hit this idea? The father of Canada, Jacques Cartier. Cartier. It may not come as a surprise that the meaning of this, literally, one who transports goods. When he transports good, yeah. And I also believe Cartier was a short robe Dominican. Okay, rabbit hole. Here we go. Down the path that one we shall not return. Columbus. Columbus is third order Franciscan. I've presented, given my belief that Jacques Cartier was a short robe Dominican, so an ordained, a plainclothes Dominican priest. The Catholic spirit. Let's see. The fact that, and I don't know if this has ever been discussed. No, I'm certainly. This was a new, relatively new find, but it certainly gives a bit of some leverage for me about what I think about Cartier. Again, when I refer to Cartier, obviously I'm referring also back to 1534, his first voyage from Saint Malo, Brittany, northern France, 20 April 1534. Where is it? Columbus grew up pious household. The Dominican priest who earned the title Protector of the Indians. Fuck. What? Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, provokes some strong cuss word. Let's see. Columbus was a third order Canadian. Here we go. Columbus was a third order Franciscan, as plenty of other historical figures were. Interesting. In St. Francis, G.K. Chesterton wrote, whatever. If we imagine passing us third order Francis, the famous figures would surprise us more than the strange ones. For us, it would be like unmasking of some mighty secrets. Okay. The fact that Columbus is not just this idea of our instant association 1492. I appreciated how Jean-Paul mentioned a few times, but that classic rhyme about 1492 Columbus sailing the ocean blue, but not many would be able to recognize or even understand the importance of Christopher Columbus being of the Franciscan order, but also the meaning of that being of the third order, not having to wear the Franciscan habit, and anyway, certainly much larger implications on the purpose of Columbus's voyages. Not just the age of exploration and finding new lands, certainly other things going on. Anyway, I just wanted to hit a couple points. Benjamin, let's see what you got. It's also, of course, they don't reveal a true amount of consumed. Yeah, I don't even think it's pun intended, not on anybody's radar. Blown cover is cover, hidden in plain sight. Just like mentioning earlier today, this idea that as consumers, what do we, the devices that we stand in line for, that we purchase with our earned money, what we wear, what we carry in our pockets, what's carried in women's in the bras, in their back pockets. How about that as a status symbol? Looking at young girls, they go, I don't know, it's not an iPod anymore, but certain devices that are a young person user friendly that aren't necessarily that have the capabilities of a full blown smartphone, but certainly whether it's being able to text mom or dad, having limits on the times a day that they're active. I haven't had a smartphone in a while, so it's remember, SMART acronyms: self-monitoring, analyzing, and reporting technology. The fact that again that's never discussed, or rarely, if ever, discussed. But back to this idea that these devices being status symbols, and then also too this idea that we cannot go anywhere without what have I been calling it? The papal panopticon. Literally the papal panopticon. There is nowhere you can go without being seen. So yeah, it's good to have your hat and sunglasses. Not that that's going to stop much, but man, this idea of privacy in public, the fact that the filming in a public space is allowed, and there's no more privacy from, again, cameras on devices that are carried in pockets, front and back, held up to sides of people's heads when talking on telephones, when people are. It's crazy. This idea, back to this, the Francis Brown, so the Jesuit who photographed potentially every single person on the Titanic as a photographic record of who would eventually perish, and anyway, just like the idea presented in while I'm thinking of it, in George Orwell, Eric Arthur Blair's 1984, telescreens. There's nowhere that Big Brother doesn't see you. But it's also not about the visual. When we think of, I'm not prepared to go down certain. So why don't I just wrap up with this? So remember, today, Francis Borgia, 3rd Jesuit Superior General, born 28 October 1510. 28 October, there's a number of significant birthdays from Joaquin Phoenix, Bill Gates, Jonas Salk, Dmitry Ivanovsky, and his death date and death date anniversary, so being 30th September 1572. Beatification date, canonization date, and then the fact that we're also given 3 particular feast days. Today is one of them, and in Canada also being the day of national. No, I'll have to look it up. It's not just Orange Shirt Day. It is the National Day to the what horseshit. There's no reconciliation with Rome. Originally and still colloquially known as the Orange Shirt Day, is a Canadian holiday to recognize the legacy of the Canadian. Yeah, this is what it's celebrating the legacy of the Canadian Indian residential school system. Job well done for raping, buggering how many children and what that led to. And of course, it doesn't just stop with the Indigenous. That the fact, back to this idea of hidden in plain sight. We know and understand in part the 4th vow of the Jesuit order, the extreme oath, extirpate their execrable race. Again, a quote that is, or a statement that is quoted by, where is it? Jeffrey? Nope. Field Marshal Jeffrey Amherst, first Baron, at one point the most powerful man in North America, whom not single-handedly, but from the transference of French rule to British rule, and that's another working hypothesis, that with the peoples and the language groups infiltrated first by the French, and that was the plan of Rome and the Vatican and the Jesuit order all the way along. So the infiltration, missionary orders, specifically the Jesuit order and the French language, into all the language groups of North America, and then that power, after the successful infiltration, being given to Britain. And of course, as I've stated before, this idea that the Acts of Supremacy, 1534, November 3rd November, this was a contrived event where King Henry VIII broke from Rome. He declared the supreme leader of the Church of England. It's funny, this idea. Let's just look up, let's revisit this for a moment, the Union Jack. So the combination of three types of crosses. The cross of Andrew, cross of Patrick, and the cross of George. So remember the idea of a crucifixion, a beheading, and a translation. But the fact, though, I also state that this here's the bird's eye view of the fasces, or the fasci. Fasces is a singular, fasci is a plural. And you have this intersection, and of course, in the very center is the instrument of war, whether it's the spear, whether it's the axe, the battle axe, the mindset. It is the Jesuit superior general. It is the, I can't think, talk, and type at the same time. St. Peter's Square. The system that came through the flood and emerged on this side, which was preserved in the seat of Nimrod all the way through to today, through Babylon, all the way through to Rome today. The seat of the papacy is the preserved seat of Nimrod. And again, this symbol, which has its roots, I would disagree with the cap. It's not just Gnostic sun worship, but its roots, because there's nothing new under the sun. Its roots are found with Cain and Abel, in the manner which Cain slaughtered Abel, in the manner in which the second Abel, the second Adam, was crucified upon Jesus being nailed to a tree, becoming the curse so that we can be redeemed from the curse. Nailing religion to the cross. And just as the son of Jonah, 3 days and 3 nights in the tomb, resurrected. Okay, crucified, Passover in the ground, in the tomb for the feast of unleavened bread. A portion of the feast of unleavened bread raised on first fruits. Fascinating. Okay, wow. Okay, again, link. I'll leave the link. Thank you very much. This is your, okay. They knew what they were looking at. Book of Enoch revealed clearly, aside from being cleared about cosmology of the Earth. Yeah, but I think Enoch is important. Well, how about Jasher Jubilees as well? The fact that how about yeah, it's amazing how commentary can go from hey, Jeff, greetings, hey, good day. I'm just about to sign off, but yeah, hey, Benjamin, great points. I'll maybe bring some stuff up next time. Anyway, I got to sign off. Jeff, thank you. Benjamin, thank you so much. Whenever you're catching this, we just recognize again that here we are, the feast day of Third Jesuit Superior General Francis Borgia, and his attributes: a skull crowned with an emperor's diadem against patronage, earthquakes, Portugal, Gandia. Okay, but the fact. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. At some point, I'll discuss some thoughts about Nolan's film Tenet, but Rotus, the Sator Square. Okay, and then I think the earthquake in Morocco, September 11th, was telegraphed through the red roof, the Lahaina. Yeah, in part. Okay, obviously, and that's a completely different topic. But this has to do with, I believe, the owner. Okay, I don't have the name in front of me, but the owner of this house, the husband and wife, the man is like Frederick Chopper-Sauce the third. He has he's a third. His grandfather, I believe. I have to confirm this. There's a masonry. What do you call it? Shit. The Shriners in the family lineage or heritage there, and the fact that the source of the fez which Shriners wear stems from, well, the history of it stems all the way back to Morocco. So anyway, there's definitely some telegraphing, in my opinion, as your Hawkeye. This was this, of course, because this clearly stands out. You cannot miss this. A WTF moment of of course, examining all the images that this looks familiar, like many other fires that have taken place from California to British Columbia, so on. And this one house with the red roof just happens to stand out, which of course I include with my recent video upload, which showcased the Doppler, the WSR-88D NEXRAD sites, noting that there are 4 locations on and throughout the islands of Hawaii. Anyway, okay. What have I missed? All right, thank you so much. Yeah, good day. Good day. Thanks for all you do, and look forward to. Yeah, of course. Hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, I the fact. Mad Max. Grew up obsessed with Mad Max. That's another story, and yeah, Midnight Oil as well. And of course, through Midnight Oil, connections with my father and even grandfather on my father's side. That's interesting there as well. So I was hoping to hit that in part, which is why I added them. One of my favorite songs, "Lucky Country." Wanted to not just bookend, but kind of blanket my most recent video with a Midnight Oil song, which is meaningful to me, but also I think in part meaningful to the story. I was thinking of considering using Beds Are Burning, but I rather preferred Lucky Country, and that won it. All right, Benjamin, Jeff, and again, everyone else, bless you. Much love.